So, welcome back to the session on organizational behavior. So, let us continue with the relevance and importance of organizational behavior. The previous session, we have seen the Hawthorne experiments and its findings, and how the subject has been evolved from then. So, now let us see how the subject organizational behavior has its importance and relevance in the current organizational structure. So, the behavior of an individual is studied under three main heads. The first is understanding the human behavior alone. The second is controlling and directing human behavior within the organization. And the next is the organizational adaptation. Adaptation is to mean trying to adjust to the workplace. So we shall study the importance of organizational behavior in these three heads. So the first head is understanding human behavior, and while understanding human behavior we have to understand it at four different levels. First, at the individual level, the second interpersonal level, the third group level, and the fourth intergroup level, because the behavior of a person is different in each of these levels. So the first one is individual level. Individual level, it is affected by the family background, the work background, their thinking, the neighborhood where the individual is brought up, the culture, the country, all these affect the individual behavior. So that is the first case of individual level. Especially these are very much visible and found in the multinational companies where people belonging to different countries come and work. So individual level is that you try to understand where the person belongs to, what is the culture, and how they impact the behavior of that individual. The next level is interpersonal level. Interpersonal level is where it is between two persons. So when it is between two persons, it can be employee and his friend, or employee and his colleague, employee and the manager, employee and the subordinate, employee and the customer. So these are the different aspects of the, that is interpersonal level. So in each of these relationships, that is employee and employee, employee and manager, employee and subordinate, employee and customer, there are different kind of interactions which may happen. Those may be casual or these may be formal. There may be a positive interaction, there may be a negative interaction. Positive reaction would be friendly, happiness, speaking about work, bettering the workplace. And negative interactions may be quarrel, disagreement, fight. So all these things are affected. They are not affected only because of the other person, but also because of the various factors which we have seen, which may be internal, that is within the organization, and external. Further, there may be factors internal to the person and external to the person. So the behavior which is there at this level is very different than the individual level. The next is group level. So group level, here when we say group, it is generally definitely 4 or 5 members in a group, maybe the office group. And here also the behavior of the person is different than with the one-to-one relationship in the previous level. So here also, whatever the entire group agrees on, the person has to agree whether the person at the individual level agrees or not. So here this behavior is different than the previous two levels. And lastly, the intergroup level. At the intergroup level, it is that is relationship between two groups working in a place, and if the work is dependent, the performance of one group will be affecting the performance of the other group. and thus giving scope for all kinds of interactions again. So here also the attitude, the behavior of the employees will be totally different. So that is why in while studying the human behavior from the organizational context, we have to study at these four levels of individual, interpersonal, group and intergroup level. We shall go on to the next aspect, that is controlling and directing human behavior. So once we have understood the behavior of the employees at the different level, it is next the part of directing these behaviors, because when the behaviors are not directed, the company may not be able to achieve whatever goals they have set for themselves, and instead it may be a chaotic environment. So for that reason, it is very important that the behavior, the actions of the employees are controlled and directed. So the first is the use of power and sanction. Power and sanction is to refer the power which is given or the authority given to a senior person or the manager who will take the actions or decisions in case of the particular behavior. Say for instance, if the employee is regularly late, then first a warning may be issued, later a show cause notice, and maybe the employee may be suspended. So that is the power which the senior authority will have. That is what is to mean with this use of power and sanction. Sometimes there will be other kind of behaviors, maybe absenteeism, frequently being absent from work, or skipping work, piling up of the work, and all other kinds. So in those cases, how it has to be controlled and guided is what we'll be studying here. Next is leadership. Leadership also, you have mainly two kinds, that is authoritative or autocratic leadership style, and the other is democratic leadership style. So these two leadership styles also affect the employee performance. Authoritative will be where the employees will have no chance to speak, they have to only obey the orders of their superior, whereas in case of democratic, there may be some scope for them to speak out their ideas and show their creativity. So this is another factor which is required in the superior so that they can get the required productivity from their employees. The next is communication. Communication is the most important factor at the workplace. Not communicating can create more disasters than communicating. And it is also very important while communicating of what is the matter to be communicated, how it has to be communicated, what are the words that is required to put on to communicate. All these will make the communication effective and efficient. Something going wrong in this will make it ineffective, or it may whatever message has to be conveyed may not reach the person who it has to be received, and it also may lead to that is again conflicts happening in the organization. So that is why we study organizational behavior, so that we can better and master the skills of communication. The next is organizational climate. The work atmosphere at the workplace also affects the productivity. So that is why organizational behavior suggests that the approach to create organizational climate in totality rather than merely improving the physiological conditions or increasing employee satisfaction by changing isolated work processes. So that is what they say, that they have to think not only just by giving physical facilities, maybe that of a very well lighted room or an air conditioner or whatever. There is more than that, that is especially the psychological aspect which will be contributing to productivity. So this is under the second head, that is controlling and directing human behavior. The next aspect is organizational adaptation. In the organizational adaptation, it is important that the employee adjusts to the work environment, and this has to be done by their superiors to see that the newly employed employee adjusts quickly to the given environment. That is where the essence of organizational behavior lies. So this is how we see that organizational behavior is important. We need to study the behavior of the employees in order to have a better workplace and achieve the targets which are set by the company. So this is for all in the introductory session.